New subscription received. Dispensing gratitude. Gratitude dispensed.
Oh my goodness, hello everybody. Oh my gosh, I am so glad to be back. Y'all have no idea. It is, oh man. You guys are the best. Winnie Mitchie, PsycheSiren, the Quant. Oh my god, you guys are awesome. Diz, hey, what's going on? Olsen, oh my gosh, you guys. I appreciate y'all dropping these videos on me. I really do. I hope you guys are excited. Tonight is a very, very special night, and I can't wait. I really, really can't wait. If you've never been to my channel before, I am doing a special mental health stream tonight with the wonderful, amazing goddess. I love her, PsycheSiren. She is absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, Diz. Thank you for shouting Psyche out. Y'all, if you are not following Psyche, seriously, go follow her. You are missing out. Oh my gosh, her content is absolutely amazing. Every time I go over there, I am rolling my butt up. I am just laughing so hard because she really, really knows how to bring the joy to people's life. Are you using a headset mic or I am using this mic. Is it not picking up right? Let me see. You know, I haven't made any changes. I have not been streaming because I was sick, but I'm okay now. Oh no, is it doing that thing again? Oh, dang it. Okay. What if I kind of, I created a limiter for this. That's really, really unfortunate why it's doing that. Okay. How about that? Does that sound a little bit better? Excuse me. So, just FYI, y'all, I have been fighting a cough. I don't know if you guys can tell, I do sound a little congested. It's been an ongoing cough for more like about 3 weeks now. Excuse me. So, good to hear that you're better now. Oh yeah, I'm much better. I was coughing a lot worse before, but I'm doing much better now. Come by on Tuesdays. Best days over at Psyche's. Nothing but pure love and wholesome. You know what? Tuesdays are the best, y'all. Tuesdays are the best. You really need to go check it out. Whenever I'm a guest on stream, there's always technical issues. I know, right? It's like, it's the Psyche curse. Hello from Psyche's Called. What's going on? Colossal Games TV. Hello. So again, for everybody who's joining me for the first time, I am Aurria21. I am a variety streamer. I do apologize if my voice sounds really horrible. I don't know why. Aurria, can I ask you something? Where's your mask? Well, it's not here. It's over there, but I do have a mask. Just FYI. So by the way, does my voice sound a little bit better? I was hoping that, that it would, would be better. Maybe if I move the mic a little bit away. What if okay. How about that? Is that better? Ooh, Aurria, I feel you on the coughing. I'm still suffering mine, but I'm getting better. I am so glad. I'm glad that you are. It's no joke, man. This coughing, and then like, I've got my inhaler here because I'm having to take my inhaler, and oh, it's a pain. It's definitely a pain. But you guys, I'm gonna jump right into this. So tonight I have oh my gosh, thank you, Anari. Oh, thank you, Anari. I appreciate the sub 15 months. I heart you, sir. You're the best. You're the best. Is Texas back from the brink of destruction? Camper, what's going on? It is, thankfully. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Colossal Games, for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and bring PsycheSiren on because I don't want to, I want you guys to get as much Psyche as possible. And believe me, you can never get enough of this lady. She's amazing. I have the wonderful privilege of being a part of the Psyche Path, which is her stream team. She's the leader of the Psyche Path, and it's a wonderful, amazing stream team filled with wonderful, wholesome people. And I am very blessed and fortunate to be a part of that. So I kind of feel like I was drafted. I didn't even know I was in it. I was just like, oh, I'm a part of Psyche Path? Oh, okay, cool, all right, I just thought I was there to support Diz, but they were like, oh no, you're part of Psyche Pass. I was like, oh, okay, well, all right, I'm down. I mean, you don't gotta tell me twice. Like, that's awesome. So that's how we get you, I know, right? All right, so Psyche, I'm gonna go ahead and start up the wonderful awesomeness that I have been working hard on. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the level 1 hype train, y'all. Y'all are so amazing. Hear about holding baby, hard to type. Oh my gosh, Ella, you are great, ma'am. You are awesome. Okay. All right. So how do I sound, by the way, you guys? Do I sound okay? Does it sound, I don't know. I hope it doesn't sound bad. Mental health with 2 Southern belles. I am crowning that as the title right now, and I don't care about what you say. Oh my gosh, that's great. I love it. I love it. All right, so Psyche, if you would like, you can go ahead and join my waiting room, and I can go ahead and drag you on in, ma'am, on Discord. Oh, that's right. Are you? You know what? Are you in my Discord? Here, I'll go ahead and I'll send you a quick invite, ma'am. And I have a special live channel that you can go ahead and join. So, yes, awesome. So here's what's going to be happening, y'all, tonight. If you want to learn more about Psyche, you can just type in !MHA, and that'll give you all of the amazing information about Psyche. I was impressed myself. I was like, oh my gosh, she has a bachelor's of science in psychology, master's in clinical mental health. I'm guessing that is that education specialist. Oh yeah, educational specialist in clinical mental health, officer of Chi Sigma Lambda, a psychology institution, and a member of Alpha Chi, which is an educational institution. So y'all, we are definitely in for a wonderful evening. I just want to give a disclaimer in the beginning. I am not a mental health professional at all, but I do deal with mental health issues myself. So I have learned how to cope with certain things. So, you know, I do my best to spread awareness. However, Psyche, she is the mental health professional here. So you can listen to what she has to say. Me, I'm just letting you guys know. These are tips from me. But Psyche, she's the professional here. All right, so let's see if Psyche is in. I can drag her on in. Excuse me. Awesome, Psyche's here. All right, I'm gonna make you a VIP, ma'am. All right, let me go ahead and drag you on in, Psyche, and then I can go ahead and turn my music on down. Okay, hello, ma'am. Can you hear me okay?
Hello, I can hear you. Thank you for
Awesome.
dragging me here. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so let me go ahead and I'll change my music on over to something more, you know, mental healthy. I guess.
Listen,
Yeah.
you don't gotta go too calm.
All right, awesome. Well, you guys, so here's a little slideshow I made. I made a little slideshow for tonight.
Oh my gosh, I'm so proud.
Yes, and as you can see, check it out, Psyche. So whenever you talk, you light up.
Oh my goodness, I
Yes.
love it so much.
I'm so glad.
Professionalism. What?
Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. Seriously, it really does. It really does. So okay, y'all, we're just gonna go ahead and get right on into the thick of it. So basically, we're going to be, just a trigger warning for anybody here, we're going to be discussing depression tonight. As you all know, and especially Psyche can talk about this more in detail and in more depth. Unfortunately, depression is something that is hitting a lot of us right now because of the pandemic, and basically the domino effect that has happened because of the pandemic. People are losing their jobs, they're losing their homes, they're losing their livelihood, and it is just creating this spiral. It's like we're going in this downward spiral, and it's really unfortunate. So I wanted to do something to kind of help us to spread awareness and see how we can be supportive, how we can catch ourselves before we go into that deep, dark pit of depression. Because trust me, I've been in it before. I know what it's like to be at my lowest of lows. I know what it's like to be suicidal. I know what it's like to have to pull myself from the brink of that. And it is very difficult if you do not have a support group. And the reason why I was going through that is because I didn't have a support group. But here, In my community, we have made this amazing support group, and so I want to do whatever I can to bring the tools and the awareness to everybody here, so that we can be better versions of ourselves and be better supporters to those of us who need it. But yeah, Psyche, would you like to, I guess, from your clinical knowledge, would you like to describe what depression is for everybody here, in case anybody's not aware?
Yeah, definitely. So, as I've spoken a bit in the past on my channel, a lot of people kind of view depression as I don't know if you've seen those like uh commercials where there's like a girl in yoga pants and she's eating yogurt all sad looking out the window and it's like raining and it's usually like a commercial for antidepressant. Yo, that's not depression. No. It's a common misconception that um to have depression you have to be sad. When that's not the case of all. Yes, that's not the case at all. Yes, sadness can be a part of it, but there's so many more things. And I almost hate that it's called depression because in the English language, when we hear depression, we also have another word for it, which is an emotion, not a clinical disease. So when you tell people, "Oh, I'm depressed," they immediately think, "Oh, you're sad." No, I'm diagnosed and I'm
Mm-hmm.
going through it.
Yep.
So, when we diagnose people, we use something called the DSM. It goes through many different versions of it, but what we look at when we use this manual is we look at the duration. We look at like how long this has been going on. We look at how it impacts your life, if it's spilling over into other areas. So it's very complex and hard to say what depression is, but I can tell you some of the symptoms that we look for when we diagnose it. Um, so things like trouble concentrating, fatigue, feelings of worthlessness, emptiness, hopelessness. Insomnia is a huge sign of it, restlessness. Um, a very big indicator is a loss of interest in things that you were once very interested in, like something you were passionate about, a sudden loss of that. Um, Either overeating or not eating enough, aches and pains, headaches, cramps. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty fascinating how your mental health will translate over to your physical well-being. Your body is going to tell you something's not right. Um, Also, you're going to have persistent sad or anxious or empty feelings, and maybe even suicidal thoughts, although it's not always common with depression. So,
Oh,
to answer your question, that's
interesting.
that's depression.
No, that's good though. That's really good, because a lot of people do think that, and it's funny.
Yeah.
People are in chat like, "Oh, I want yogurt now," but really, that's really not what it is. I just FYI, Psyche, about me. I have chronic severe depression. It's something I've
Yep.
lived with my whole entire life. So I've learned that I have good days and I have bad days.
Oh, it's a
Um,
roller coaster.
yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. It's amazing. Oh, so great. I love it.
Let me off this ride.
Yep. So yeah. Believe me, there are not days where I'm sitting there just eating yogurt, looking out of a rainy window. No. There, like everything you described, I have gone through. The
Uh-huh.
insomnia, the restlessness, the overeating or lack of eating,
Yeah.
all of that. Oh man, it's like you hit the nail on the head, every single one, you know. And a
Yeah.
lot of people
Yeah.
think it's other things when really that's what it is. It's not always being sad, because that's something that happens all the time whenever I try to like reach out to some of my friends and I say, hey, just FYI, I feel a depressed episode coming on, just giving you a heads
Mhm.
up, because I can recognize the signs now when I can feel
Oh,
my
yeah.
mood starting to go down. And then they'll be like, oh, what's wrong? Why are you sad? And I'm like, but I'm not sad. I'm
That's the
not
whole thing.
sad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
With the English language, I hate that we called it depression
Mm-hmm.
because it was already known as something else. Like, oh, you're
Mm-hmm.
depressed, you're sad. No, it is an actual issue. It's Ooh,
Yep.
ooh, go on to the next thing before I. Ooh, hold me back, Aria. Hold me back.
Oh my gosh, yes, I know, right? So, okay, so what was now that you guys know what depression is, so what we're gonna do is before all of this was happening, usually we'll do like question and answer like the night of. Well, Psyche wanted to be like super amazing and answer everything in depth. So I sent her the questions that you all asked me in Discord a week in advance so that way she can go over them. So I have some questions here for Psyche, and you guys can, go ahead and see who asked what and everything, so that way we can go over it. So, Psyche, if you like, we can go ahead and excuse me, felt that cough coming on. Sorry about that. I apologize. I try to mute myself before I cough.
Good.
But yes, ma'am, we can go ahead and start the questions if you would like.
Yeah, definitely. Let's
Okay.
dive into it.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and here's the first question. How do I motivate myself to get out of bed when going through the deep water? How to swim up and out by Discam.
I related really hard to this question. Something I've touched on a bit on my stream in the past is I also struggled with depression back in 2016. Um, like really, really hard. I was taking Lexapro for it, and it's so funny. A lot of people assume that um almost like a therapist, is immune to also having a clinical mental health issue. But the thing is, a lot of us get into this field because we have been impacted by it or we've seen loved ones go through it. And so this is what helped me personally. First off, I will say though, a huge misconception is that you can just deal with these things on your own, or just talk with friends. And no, you wouldn't go operate on yourself if you had a broken bone. You wouldn't. You wouldn't go to a doctor, get a diagnosis, and be like, you know what? I'll look on WikiHow, and I'll look at some bad drawings and suddenly know how to fix myself up.
I feel called out.
All y'all shit. I'm calling all y'all out. I'm therapist tonight, Aria. So here's the thing. This is what I did. But first off, listen, you gotta go see a therapist or a professional about this stuff. Don't just try to slap some duct tape on yourself and call it a day. Okay. Something I utilize is cognitive behavioral therapy. Every therapist has their own school of thought that they pull from when they use techniques. And that was mine. So when I was going through the darkest year of my life, this is what helped me, aside from therapy and medication. So disclaimer, do those first, I swear to God. So I wanna pick up on something. How do I motivate myself? This is a huge misconception. Motivation is like say you look at a very pretty cake. Okay, and it's all smooth and it's got fondant on it. I feel like motivation is that pretty fondant. You can put it on posters, you can do hashtag motivation all you want, but the thing you want to eat, the thing that's underneath supporting it, is discipline and routine, because motivation is so fleeting. It is so temperamental. You'll have it one day and it'll be gone the next, and you'll beat yourself up and you'll wonder, why do I not have this anymore? You know? So what I did is I realized that routine and discipline could help me on days when motivation wasn't there. So simple things like brushing my teeth in the morning, making my bed. It sounds like such little things, but when you're dealing with depression, it's such a huge step that can get you started on a very good path. So making sure you do that, making sure you shower, making sure you journal. It can cascade into all these other things. Um, it's kind of like what my mom once told me. She would say, "Honey, how do you eat an elephant?" And I'd be like, "I don't know, Mom. I don't eat elephants." And she'd call me rude and say, "You eat an elephant one bite at a time." And
Oh,
she was right. You take one task, one step every day, and eventually it'll help pull you out of that deep water. You'll probably still be in the kiddie pool, but a therapist can help you. We'll throw you a floaty or something.
progress is progress.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, so that's what I think anyway.
That's awesome. That's actually something I've kind of told myself too. Is you have to take it one day at a time, and if you can't do one day at a time, then do 1 hour at a time.
Mhm.
A little bit at a
Mhm.
time, because there have been days with me where it just getting out of bed, putting on pants even.
Yeah.
I tell everybody here, that if they're going through the thick of it and they're able to get up and put on pants, I am so proud of them, because
Mhm.
that is a daunting task all on its own. And people who don't deal with it, they don't understand, and they, kind of laugh about
They
it
don't get it.
sometimes. And it's
Yeah.
just like, no, you don't understand. It's like the weight of the world is on our shoulders, and we
Yeah.
can't really see past everything. It just seems like everything's so daunting and too much. So
Yeah.
pants are optional. I mean that too. You can put on shorts, or I'm Hispanic. We say chones. You want to at least put on chones. Something. Oh gosh. Anyway, all right. So Diz, I hope you got some really really good stuff out of that. That was a good question. All right.
Mhm.
So the next question is, how do you recognize the signs of someone possibly needing professional assistance from a therapist instead of a friend? How do you say that to someone without it sounding condescending or as though you don't believe in them? And that was by ECS Voice.
Oh gosh, that's a good one, and it kind of has like it's like multifaceted, right? Because first the question is, how do you recognize these signs that it's gotten to the point where there is professional help needed? And then it is, how do you approach it without making them feel less than? Um, those are two very big issues. But the first thing, if you're approaching your friend, um, I'll go with approaching them first, and then go with recognizing the signs. So if you want to approach someone and tell them that you are concerned, the first thing you can do is on your own, okay? Realize you personally that therapy is not just for extremes. Often there's a misconception that you have to have mental illness in order to see a therapist. No. Dear God, no. Um a therapist is there for when there is a life event you need help navigating. When you have minor stresses. It's not just reserved for when we get to the end of the line, you know. Um Before 2016, I had marriage counseling. Before I got married, we did premarital, and it was so funny because my fiance at the time, now my husband, was like, "We're doing good. Why do we need to go see?" I was like, "No, trust me, this is good."
Mm-hmm.
Because we navigated stuff, and we talked about our communication styles, and I can't recommend premarital counseling enough. Um, because it was great. We really learned how to communicate effectively, and it was when there was no crisis going on. So, straight off the bat, I would say that tell your friend it doesn't have to be a severe thing. Okay. It's not reserved just for people who are like at their wits' end. So, getting rid of that myth in your head can help a lot with broaching the subject. Okay. Um, don't feel any guilt in approaching them, because by approaching them, uh, at least me personally, it shows that you are a good friend. You are someone who notices things, someone who picks up on things. So even if you're wrong, it's a very humbling and kind thing to have in a friend. Also, when you speak with them, address the other times you've struggled in your life. Further normalize and validate therapy by showing them that you are a mental health advocate for them. Show them you don't think it is something odd. Just validate how they feel. Normalize the process when you talk to them. And it's almost like earlier when I was talking with the doctor analogy. You don't shame someone for going to a mechanic for repairs because they don't have knowledge on it. And if you see someone repair their own car, you can usually tell that they shouldn't have. And it's like we don't shame someone, like I said earlier, for going to surgery. You tell them, please go see a doctor. I see bone. This is not okay. So why in the world would we shame someone, especially a friend, for getting mental health aid when they're not trained in it? I spent almost a decade of my life training in this stuff. And even I get things wrong sometimes. Why should you be held to such a high standard yourself? Go see a professional. And even then, we seek second opinions all the time ourselves from colleagues. It doesn't make you lesser for getting therapy. Now, when it comes to recognizing the signs, I would refer back to the symptoms I listed earlier that Aurria could probably hit really hard on, like the restlessness, irritability, aches and pains, fatigue. All those things are signs that are pretty out there that you can witness changing in a friend.
You're about to make me cry, Psyche.
Oh no! I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's I've never heard anybody phrase what you just said this way before, where you're like, why would you try to operate on yourself? That's not your profession. It's not what you do. You know, my career is in IT. I'm not a medical professional.
Oh God, I wouldn't.
So,
I would go straight to you.
Yeah, like why would somebody who needs surgery? Why would you come to me? Like, no, you come to me if your computer is messed up. Then I'll fix it for you. But yeah, no, it is just so much common sense. And unfortunately, the world today, some people look down on, you know, mental health issues, and that, you know, they kind of, you know, like I said, I've kind of all my life, I've gotten used to kind of just putting up like this barrier between people who don't get it, you know, because I'm just like, okay, they just don't get it. You know, I'm not going to waste my time trying to explain why I feel the way that I feel, because they're just going to try to make me feel bad about myself. And I grew up with that, especially because I'm Hispanic, you know, I'm Latina.
Oh,
and
girl,
yes,
I can tell you all about Middle Eastern families and what we do.
Oh, man.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yes, and you know, it's frowned upon to go and get therapy or counseling or anything like that. So, and that was like ingrained into me, you know, when I was younger. So now that I'm older, I'm trying to like push back on that. And it's just really unfortunate, you know, like I remember one time I made a Facebook post about being on new meds for depression. And I was like really happy about it. Like, oh my gosh, I'm finally going to get, you know, the help that I need. And then my mom, you know, bless her heart, like she meant well. She was like, Mija, you might want to take that down about being on meds because people don't understand, you know? And she wasn't like trying to be mean, because she's my biggest supporter, but she wanted to protect me from
the people.
Because she's right, you know, she's very, very right, because I wasn't thinking about it. I was just really excited, you know, like, oh my gosh, I'm finally gonna at least somewhat be normal again, you know. That ended up not happening, but still, you know, I was excited at the time. But
girl, what is normal?
Yeah,
and you know,
right?
You know, it's so fascinating. I learned that the reason some cultures are very kind of antagonistic towards mental health is because there are, and I'm not too deeply into it, but there are individualistic and collectivistic cultures. Uh, American culture is very individualistic. You're on your own in the frontier. You're an individual. You're
Mm-hmm.
18. Go get a job. Collectivistic, though, um, which are cultures like Hispanic or Asian or Middle Eastern, were very family.
Mm-hmm.
What you do represents the family. So you seeking outside help is seen as an attack on the inside group. And it's a whole thing. It's very fascinating to research individualistic and collectivistic cultures. And it is something to navigate in therapy and kind of build a bridge towards those older members of collectivistic cultures and getting them to understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, girl, I feel
that's
it.
really awesome. I never even thought of it that way either. But yeah, Hispanic culture is very collective, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, if one person does something bad, it makes the whole group look bad, and so
Yep.
that's why they're like, you can't act like this, you can't do this, you know, because that was also ingrained into me as a child that I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I had to be proper. I had to learn manners. That's why I'm
Uh-huh.
always like, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. You know, please, thank you. That was, oh man, that
Oh
was
God, and then
ingrained
the
into me.
southern thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Growing up in the South will do that.
Oh yeah, and they wanted to make sure that I knew how to eat. If I were, you know, depending on whoever I dined with, you know, people who were like, I don't know, presidents, and like my dad was telling me, Mija, you need to learn how to eat as if you were going to eat with the Queen of England. And I'm like, okay, you know, so like it's like I couldn't do anything wrong, you know, because I'm also the oldest. So they put all of their like hopes and dreams and everything on me, and it's a lot. So now even today, I'm 35 years old. I'm 35 years old.
Received. Dispensing gratitude.
Excuse me. Thank you for that sub,
Gratitude
Midnight. I
dispensed.
appreciate that. But yeah, I'm 35 years old, and still I like don't want to disappoint my parents. You know, like I really don't. I want them to be proud of me always. But
Yeah.
so some people who don't have a collective family like that, they don't really understand because you know that's not how they were brought up. But that's how I was brought up. So
Yeah. No,
But-
I was brought up that way too. I understand. It's
so you feel me then?
oh yeah. I definitely do. When I told my dad I wanted to become a therapist, he
Oh, my mom's here. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Psyche,
gosh.
you must meet my mom is the noninator. And she just said, we are
you.
proud of you. Oh, Mom, you're going to make me cry. Oh, my mom, I was talking about you and how you're one of my biggest supporters. And I mean, she really is. My mom's amazing. She's awesome. But Mom, this is PsycheSiren. She's the leader of one of the stream
Hello.
teams I'm in. And she is a therapist. If you want to see, here, I'll go ahead and type it in for you. Excuse me. Those are her credentials, Mom. She's amazing. She's absolutely wonderful. And we're answering we're answering questions tonight about depression. So yeah. So I guess we can move on to the next question here.
Sure thing.
All right, so the next question by Midnight the Ox. I have this problem a bunch of times and I just don't know what to do in this situation. But what can you do if you have a family member that doesn't understand depression and they see the point of view in black and white?
Oh goodness. That is a good one. So here's the thing. First off, it's going to sound a bit harsh, but I want you to understand that your job is not to explain yourself to someone. Your job is to get better, first and foremost. It's always so tempting to explain ourselves for validation. It's always so tempted to try and get someone kind of on your side because you're seeking that support. When the reality is you have to learn to validate yourself and surround yourself with those who will support your mental health journey. Someone else's views are not your responsibility. They aren't. Someone else is not your responsibility. They are going on their own path, and that is completely fine. More power to them, but they are not your responsibility. um, with that out of the way, as we talked about earlier, the unfortunate thing with the English language is depression means depressed. It means sad. So if you're trying to convey how what you have is different from that term, sit down with them and explain more how it is an illness that just happens to be called depression, because it has so many other things with it: fatigue, irritability, just so many things encompass this. And for some reason, we decided on the term depression. No. You are navigating something. You are seeing a professional. Almost phrase it like you were getting cured by a doctor. You're going to get your bone healed. You're not doing it on your own. This isn't something you can do on your own, and you are strong for seeking help. Oh, sorry, I get very heated when people have unsupportive networks.
Oh, it's all good. And thank you for the follow. Free Wrath 117. I appreciate it. Awesome. And hello, Teeth. How are you? He says you could also call it MDD. Excuse me.
Oh, hello, Teeth Whitener. That's my husband. He's a pharmacist. We often joke that our kids will be psychiatrists because I'm a therapist and he's a pharmacist.
That's awesome.
It's a nerd joke. We accept it.
Hey, we're all nerds here.
But something I also want to state when it comes to people who refuse to understand what you're going through, and this is kind of a sad thing, but some people don't want to recognize depression as being a real, tangible illness because it kind of makes them recognize and confront their own mental health or the issues of those around them. It places responsibility on them to see, oh, you are going through this. And you have to kind of learn to recognize if someone is ignoring your needs because they genuinely don't understand or they don't want to understand.
Oh man, Ella said something really, I feel you, man. She says Koreans don't want to acknowledge mental health issues a lot of the time. It was interesting dealing with a low point in my life during college with a Korean fiance who just didn't believe there was an issue.
Oh my gosh. See, that's another collectivistic culture. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of Asian, Middle Eastern, Hispanic, they don't want to acknowledge it. It should stay in the family. What are you doing? There's a whole, I had to take a whole course on the cultural influences on counseling and how a lot of us have kind of a disconnect almost being raised with Western ideals with family members who are raised in more collectivistic mindsets. It's a gnarly thing to navigate, but it is possible as long as both parties are present and genuinely there to care. With kindness, you can accomplish it.
Kindness, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. Yeah, of course. I'm literally like soaking in everything that you're saying because it's from a professional and different perspective than what I'm used to hearing. So it's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
So, yep. So all right, next question. Okay, so if you were in a toxic relationship with a partner who does not believe in depression and will not support you, how can you explain to them what you were going through so that they will understand? I guess that kind of was answered on the on the last question.
Well, here's the thing. I'm sorry. What I'm about to say is probably going to offend you, and it sounds a bit spicy, but if you're with someone who's not going to support you, you need to leave. Straight up. It's something I wish a lot of clients had heard sooner in their lives. if someone is not going to support you, even if they don't understand something, because there are so many times my husband and I, we may not get something, we may not understand, but we support each other. If you're with someone who's not supporting you, even if they don't get a puppy, spend time with friends, validate yourself, get a better network. You don't have to be with someone to complete you, and you don't need their validation to get better.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Preach.
Now, I understand that not everyone can just do this. There's finances sometimes. There's a multitude of reasons why you may either choose to stay or be in a situation where you can't leave. And if that is the case, I would recommend couples counseling with a focus on depression, because even if you're going through depression, there are stronger issues at play. There's a dynamic that isn't working. There's a lack of support, even if they don't understand. So that is what I would recommend to you.
That's awesome. Thank you. And you know what? I wish I would have heard that too years ago. Because I was in a toxic relationship myself for 6, almost 7 years, and
oh my God, power to you for navigating that.
Yeah, all it did was make my mental health issues worse, and I developed really horrible anxiety because of it. That it's been about what, 3 years now, going on 4 years since that relationship ended, and I notice I still get triggered, and I'm still dealing with the side effects from the anxiety and the PTSD from that. So that really, thank you for saying that. For other people who are stuck in these toxic relationships with no support, you definitely need to get out while you can, because I know what it's like to not be supported, and it's absolutely horrible, and it is detrimental to your mental health if you're already dealing with depression and whatnot. It's not going to get better. It gets worse, believe me, and you need to get out, or the consequences will be dire for you as the person dealing with the mental health issues. So yes. But no, go ahead.
Something I think I forgot to tell you. I used to work in a domestic violence shelter as a mental health advocate. So
oh wow,
I've seen so much, so many situations where they came back and they were so much happier. You could tell they had a glow back to them, and that this person was holding them back. It just,
it's so true. Like, I remember the day that I left, and I went to go stay at some of my really close friends' house. They were a married couple, and when they found out that I basically was homeless, they were like, "Please come stay with us." And I did. And they let me bring my dog, Romy, and I stayed with them for 2 weeks until my apartment was ready. And during that 2 weeks, they treated me with nothing but kindness that I was not used to. And let me tell you what, Psyche, I remember I burst into tears when I came home from work. They had dinner ready on the table for me. They had taken care of Romy. They made my bed, they were like, "We'll take care of you."
They were decent people,
Yeah,
is what you're saying, and you weren't used to decency.
Yep. And I lost it. I burst into tears. I was like, I'm not used to this, and anytime they were kind to me, I would just cry, because I wasn't used to it. I was used to yelling and screaming and name calling and throwing things and, making me feel worthless, like I wasn't good enough. That's what I was used to.
That's what they do to control you. They push you down so you don't think of rising above.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it just, oh man, it's awesome. So yes, from somebody who has survived a toxic relationship, y'all, Psyche is speaking the truth. You leave when you can. Seriously. Oh man.
Get a puppy.
Yeah, get a puppy, get a kitty. All right. Next question is, how can you get a quiet person who is going through depression that rarely expresses themselves to open up? And that is by Dragon Witch.
Oh, that is a good one. Some people are a bit more reserved, either through personality or just things they've been through in life. And something that can help a lot is being yourself. And what I mean by being yourself is show them through the way you live your life that you are a mental health advocate. When I say you're a mental health advocate, you are someone who does not view mental health as a taboo subject. Uh, Talk openly about your own mental health. Um, Encourage equal recognition between physical and mental illness. Show compassion for those of, like, if you see someone in the media or you hear a story of a friend that you have in common struggling with mental illness, show compassion for them. Choose empowerment over shame. Be honest about treatment that you may have had. And through little moments in time, through various conversations, you can educate others on how common something is. Basically, show that friend that you're there for them. Show them that if they do come to you, you are a safe place to be just by living your life. Because if you do address something and you do get a bit confrontational, they could retreat further. Um, Sometimes it's better to give people their own time and just drop little bits of awareness, I suppose. At least this is something I've found to work. If it's dire, then definitely have that talk with your friend. But just by showing them that you are an advocate, you can create a place for conversation to happen.
That's awesome, and that's really good, and that's usually why some people kind of close themselves off. I mean, I'm one of them. There are times where the depression will be so loud, you know, or the anxiety that I just like shut down, you know, and I just shut everything out. And because one of the things is I don't feel safe, you know, talking to whoever. I feel like they're not going to understand, or, you know, they're not going to get it. And so I'm going to feel judged, you know, for whatever it is that I'm going through. So that's good, you know, to know if, you know, anybody here, like Psyche said, if you can just show that you are a safe place and, you know, no judgment, and that they can talk to you, that gosh, that means so much. It really does. Excuse me. Gosh, thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, definitely.
So the next question is: are there any common missteps a support group might make, thinking it's for the best of the individual? How much involvement one should have to avoid causing overdependence, and in the event that happens, how someone with depression might be able to work towards standing on their own again?
Oh, that's a really, really good one. So I've actually led group therapy a few times in the past. And there are some missteps that can happen, especially if it's a support group that doesn't have a therapist guiding the conversation. Sometimes things can become codependent. Sometimes members can rely on each other too much. And that's where I would recommend boundaries. And boundaries are amazing and good and valid, and dear God, I wish more people would use them. Here's the thing. If you are already dealing with something on your own, you can be there for someone. You still have that power. You can still be there for them, but you're already carrying your own stuff. And if you try to carry someone else's stuff while you're carrying your own, you're going to drop everything. But you can walk side by side with them while you're both carrying your own stuff. And that's where boundaries come into play. So it's not that support groups are bad. It's just there is a potential there for things to become toxic. So here's an example of boundary setting if you've never really quite heard of this. Here are some boundary affirming statements you can say to yourself. Things like, I have a right to say no without feeling guilty. Okay, that's a big one. You have a right to say no to things without explaining why. You have a right without feeling guilty. You can put down that firm boundary if someone says that they need you to do something for them. If they ask you to prioritize themselves over you, you have a right to say no. Another boundary setting sentence that you can say to yourself is, I have a right to be treated with respect. Another person in a support group having mental illness does not justify them being, forgive my language, I'm so sorry, an asshole. Just because you are dealing and navigating with your own mental health, it's not a blank check to overstep someone's boundaries. You have a right to be treated with respect, regardless of what another person is going through. Okay? You have a right to make your own needs as important as their needs. You have a right to be accepting of your mistakes and failures, and you have a right not to meet others' unreasonable expectations of you. That is your given right. Boundaries are very close to my heart, and they are very needed in group settings. So that is what I would recommend above everything. And as far as when it comes to how can someone with depression be able to work towards standing on their own again, have multiple outlets. Don't put all your bets on one horse. Don't just have this one support group, because if things fall through, where are you going to go? Have other groups. Have a therapist if you can. Have multiple outlets. Don't just rely on one. Because it's not fair to you, and it's not fair to them. It's not fair to you because you could get so much more help out there in the world. And it's not fair to them because there's a lot of pressure to be someone's only form of help. So it's honestly in the best interest of both. I hope I answered that. It's a very tricky subject.
No, you did great. You even preached at me a little bit because when I was getting therapy, my therapist was like, you need to establish boundaries, because I know myself. I'm a people pleaser, and I have worked really, really hard. I'm still working at it to not say yes to everything. You know, I can say no because I always feel guilty. You know, and that is, you know, me being conditioned from, you know, other things in past relationships, and I can say no, you know, so it's good, you know,
and you don't have to explain why either.
Yes.
You can just say no. It's a complete sentence.
Yep.
And I have to warn you, some people won't like boundary setting, and if they if they recoil from it, then you have learned a very valuable life lesson, and that is that this person will not respect your boundaries, and you need to move on.
You're speaking so much truth.
Thank you.
Yeah, so y'all listen to Psyche. She knows what she's talking about. If there are people in your life that do not respect your boundaries, you need to bounce, or you need to yeet them out of your life, because it's not healthy to have those kind of people in your life. Yeah, thank you. Seriously, I needed to hear that. You know, that's really awesome. Voice says yeeting is fun.
This is the mod. They love it.
My mods are great. I love them. So, Laws says boundaries are excellent. I think at the same time, some people try very hard to get better all on their own. And it's very important to realize that within boundaries, it's okay to need help and to not be able to do everything yourself.
I agree.
Gosh.
I agree.
Yeah.
Boundaries are supposed to help you, not hinder you. So and there's a huge difference between boundary setting and, you know, walling up, which you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I felt you looking at me.
No, I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh. I felt like the Psyche glare at me, like.
The eye of Thoron just turns over. It's so funny because over on my stream, there's a lot of screaming and silliness. So I bet some of my viewers are like, oh no. Oh my gosh.
Oh, so great. All right, so the next question
Yes.
is I have major chronic depression and refuse to take antidepressants because they make me worse. I have mood swings, lack of sex drive, am a zombie, my emotions who make me are non-existent, am suicidal, or worse, I get seizures. I am done taking them. How can I make the best of my situation without getting on meds? Anonymous.
So here's the thing. It's very unfortunate because you often hear, oh, just go get medication, everything will be fine. Here's the deal. With most medications, when we refer a client to start taking something, it doesn't really take effect until like 2 weeks to a month, you know? And then after a month has gone by, we see if it starts working or not. And if it doesn't, then it's a whole month to try another one. And then a whole month to try another. And that whole process can be very taxing on someone who is already having to deal with a mental illness on top of things. To now add all these physical things on top of it, it's just a whirlwind of awful. And I am so sorry, Anonymous, that you had to deal with it. I am proud of you, however, for giving them a try. And it seems like you tried really hard. And you can take pride in that. Medication isn't the only answer. What I do is I do cognitive behavioral therapy, which I mentioned earlier. With my field of study, we do something called reframing thoughts. We do journaling. We do SMART goals. We do relaxation and stress reduction techniques. There are tons of things that you can do other than medication. And I don't want you to feel like things are hopeless because it hasn't worked. Because you're not alone. A lot of other people navigate this and are disappointed with the medications they've taken. So earlier I mentioned SMART goals, and I'm going to go ahead and define that for y'all. It's pretty fascinating. SMART goals don't exist just in cognitive behavioral therapy. A lot of speakers and a lot of people in the business world have also adapted SMART goals. And those are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time limited. So it's like earlier we talked about, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it bite by bite. How do you heal through this process? Bite by bite. Have these goals for yourselves. Like we talked about earlier, waking up in the morning, making your bed, brushing your teeth. Those are specific, they are measurable, achievable, realistic, and time limited. And that is something everyone can do at home. So yes, if you can't have medication, don't beat yourself up over it. We're proud of you for trying. But look into talk therapy at least to help navigate this.
Awesome. So Diz says, I went through cognitive behavioral therapy after the divorce. It helped teach me that I'm in charge of what goes on in my head. I found it to be an actual lifesaver.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
I can't recommend it enough.
Shoot, I need to look into that specifically.
Yeah, I do. So a lot of us, cognitive behavioral therapy is kind of in vogue now with therapists. A lot of us adhere to it. But there are also other paths of thought. There's, it's been forever, but I believe there's one called humanistic, which is very nurturing, very kind and reaffirming. So some people do cognitive behavioral therapy with a dash of other techniques as well. So I would look into it.
Awesome.
But don't dismiss the other ones as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. So the next question, Psyche, is how do you say to someone that they can get through their dark thoughts that there's a bright side, even if they keep shutting you down each time and saying negative things about themselves, despite whatever you say or do? I've had several friends who seem to never listen to anything positive and seem to want to stay in that dangerous dark place. ACS voice.
Okay, so here's the thing. And I don't mean to be discouraging, but some people don't want help. It's something you have to learn. Especially if you have a helper mindset or you are in a helping profession. Some people don't want to be helped. They're happy and comfortable where they are. There's something called the victim mindset, and they can be hopeless about their circumstances never changing, but they don't do anything to change them. They can be resentful of others who seem happy and successful. You have to know where the line is between someone who is calling out to you in the water for you to save them from drowning versus someone who wants to pull you down with them. And it is a very, very hard, hurtful lesson to learn. But you have to protect yourself and you have to be careful and you have to make sure that something we learn in school, or at least I learned in grad school, is never work more than your client. And it's something all therapists have to learn the hard way. Because if you are putting in more work, that person doesn't want help. They want someone to just listen and they can say, oh, woe is me. And then be like, there, it's okay. They don't want to actually change. They just want someone to be there and listen. You can't work more than your friends on their mental well-being. You can't put that responsibility on yourself. One, it's cruel to you. And two, it makes them free of actually getting better. And that's actually a disservice to them. By helping them, you're actually hurting them. So I just want you to be careful. Realize some people are comfortable where they are, and it's never your responsibility to change someone. So as we mentioned earlier, you can let them know that you're a mental health advocate. You can let them know that you're there for them. You can let them know that you don't see them as less than, but you can't drag yourself down in the process.
That is so good. And that's also kind of in line with what you were talking about, setting boundaries, I believe. Because I have had friends like this before where they want to stay in it, they want to sit in it. And I've been in that before where I've sat in it and I know it wasn't healthy for me. But at the same time, like, you're right, you can't overexert yourself trying to help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. If they don't want to be helped, it does sound cruel and it does sound mean, but you know what, you are going to, it's like talking to a wall, really. You're literally just wasting your breath. You're just doing that and nothing is happening. Nothing is going to get done because that's how they want to be. They want to sit in it. They want to be depressed. And you have to recognize when to just, because in the past I've been like, okay, I understand you're upset. I understand you want to sit in it. And, because I've tried like, I would cook for them. I would invite them out. I'd be like, hey, I'm going to go run errands, come with me. No, I'm okay. You're trying to get them out of the house, trying to get them, into fresh air. Just, anything and everything I tried just didn't work. So I finally had to be like, okay, well, I'm not going to force you, to do what you don't want to do, but I'm here for when you're ready to talk. So that's, I guess, a nice way of, not just be like, okay, whatever, and abandoning them. You could just be like, I'm here when you're ready to talk, when you're ready to get out of this, this funk. But that's what I would do. So
Yeah.
again, I'm not professional, but
No,
I hope
it's a
that
very good point.
So Ella says, I have this issue sometimes. I've had a few people do this, and I feel like an emotional punching bag. I end up having to drop a friend instead of getting dragged down into their sadness. It sucks, but I believe friendship is a two-way street. They are taking all from me and not giving anything to the relationship.
Oh, that's a very, very true statement. It's very difficult when you are a giver, when you're a helper, because it's kind of like the giving tree. I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with the giving tree.
I am.
But there are some people who will just take and take and take, and they will keep taking even if they see you diminishing, because it's all they know to do is to take. It's how they are. And as a giver, you have to set up those boundaries and protect yourself, because you can't just give. You have to take too.
Laws says something, which maybe you can have some feedback on this. She says, I think it's important to also remember that someone who is in a horrible place mentally, that's where they live all the time. And depending on the person, they may not be able to help talking like that because it's all they know. Sometimes there's nothing to say, but sometimes all someone needs is a positive person to just be there with them, to just be willing to sit with them, even if they aren't up to doing anything. I guess to kind of answer that, sometimes I have, whenever I've been upset over something, or when, I'm in a depressed episode, sometimes it is nice to have somebody just sit there with you. They don't have to say anything, they don't have to talk, they don't have to try to fix it, because sometimes that it can't be fixed. So it's nice sometimes, like, I can tell you right now, my best friend online is an Aurria. And whenever I've gone through some really messed up things, he literally was there for me, and he would just sit with me, and we would just watch Netflix in silence, But the fact that he was there meant a lot to me. But at the same time, I am also a giver. I'm not going to take and take and take and take and just, throw all my emotional mess at him and vent to him all the time. Like, no, I also do my best to give into the friendship as well, because he's there for me, so I want to be there for him. But I don't know if you had something to say about what Loss was saying about how sometimes people just don't know how to talk because that's where they live all the time, just in that deep, dark depression.
It's true. It can be hard getting them to reframe their mindset, especially if that's all they've ever known. It's kind of like how you mentioned earlier with when you finally moved out and you were with your friends, you weren't used to decency. You weren't used to kindness. Well, they're not used to that kind of mindset because it is all they've known. What's important for you to recognize is someone who is stuck in that mindset versus someone who's happy with how they are and they just want to complain. You've just got to be careful and protect yourselves, because it can bring you to that mindset as well if you're not careful. So I'm not saying drop your friend or anything. You can still sit with them. Just make sure you prioritize yourself. And that's gonna sound weird, a therapist telling you to be selfish, but I have a little story actually. My great grandma Georgia, she this is on the white side of my family, obviously. My great grandma actually saved like that bloodline, that side of the family, because of being selfish. My great grandpa had gone off to war, and she was alone with 7 kids and no skills, just a little farm and some chickens. One day, as family stories go, I've told this on my channel before. All she had for them to eat that day was an egg. One egg. And my mom, when she told me the story, she said, Roxana, what do you think she did with that egg? And I was like, she cooked it and she split it among everyone. And she said, no, she ate it. And the kids went hungry that day. Listen, it sounds awful. It sounds awful. But she used that energy to go into town and get a job sewing. And even though her kids went hungry that day, she was able to provide for our family so that my mom could be born one day and I could be here. And it's so funny how a story of selfishness ended up saving all of her kids. You don't think of this often, especially if you're a giver, especially if you're a helper. But you have to take care of yourself first if you're going to help someone else. You have to keep a mind on your own mental health and your own boundaries. Because how are you going to help someone if you're not okay?
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad you said that, because I tell other people that too. You know, that if there is somebody that they are taking care of, they need to be okay before they are well enough to take care of somebody else. I tell this to a lot of my mom friends, you know, because they will just run themselves ragged. And I'm like, you need a break, ma'am. You need to put yourself first. At least give yourself at least an hour in the day to put yourself first. The kid can wait. That, you know, they're not gonna you know, die if they don't get your attention, you know, right then and there. But yeah, put yourself first, you know, because how are you going to take care of your kid if you are not at 100%, you know? And I know a lot of people don't like that sometimes. That's not a very popular opinion, I've learned, but it's literally the only way that you can keep going. You know, you need, so I get that story. I really do. And I think that was wise. That was wise, because now we get to have Psyche on my stream, and we're having this amazing stream tonight, and we are touching all these people with her wisdom and her knowledge. And yes, so if she was around to this day, I would tell her, thank you, ma'am, for being wise.
So what's your next question for me? I'm ready.
Yes, ma'am. So, is it normal or considered suicidal if you wish that you were already dead and gone but don't want to kill yourself? Anonymous. Ooh,
that's a good one. So here's the thing. Okay. It's gonna sound a bit weird, but passing thoughts like these that just kind of come out of nowhere, that's actually kind of normal. Just that passing thought of, well, what would happen if this? Or what if I could just be gone and not have to deal with this? It's different than what we use to diagnose actual suicidal ideation. If it is a constant, it's like I said earlier, when we factor in duration into our diagnosis. If it's a passing thought, that's fine. It's like I go up to a bridge and I'm like, what would happen if I jumped? And then I'm like, no, dear God, what is wrong with you? But if it's a constant thing that is persistent in your life, you need to seek professional help. And this is gonna sound awful, but like, think of the stupid, silly male enhancement like Viagra commercials. If these thoughts persist for more than 4 hours, contact medical help.
oh my
If you're
gosh.
getting these, listen, you knew who I was before you invited me. If you have these thoughts constantly, it's time to seek help. So just keep that in mind. Passing thoughts, it's a little concerning, but it's kind of normal. But if it's constant, don't be afraid to reach out. My mods are in chat like, Psyche, what are you doing?
I'm just like reading chat like, oh my God. I'm trying to keep a straight face because this is a valid question, but at the same time, y'all are just hilarious. Oh my God.
My staff
Oh,
can't
man.
control me here.
Right. Oh gosh. All right. So the next question. Okay, is there a way to get help with depression and suicidal thoughts that are never acted upon without being thrown into a loony bin or have your child taken away from you? Anonymous.
So, we call this term hospitalization for mental health.
Sorry, I
Not
kind of paraphrased.
Oh,
I just copied and
Malanta.
pasted. I didn't think about it
No,
before.
it's funny. It's okay. So
Oh,
so we
gosh.
call this a hospitalization for mental health. And I want to say it is an extreme that no therapist I have ever met, and I've met a lot. I've been to conventions for this thing, y'all. No one chooses lightly. Ethical code aside, it is a huge hassle. It can put us at risk legally, and it uproots a lot of groundwork we've made with our client. It is, think of it like a hospitalization being a big red emergency button that we feel we have to press only if we feel a life is at stake and we don't want you to die. You should be fine. And if you're not, and your therapist feels like you do need hospitalization, know that they did not come to that decision lightly. It does not benefit us in only the fact that we get to see you live. And if you're not fine and this does happen, hopefully it'll help you get there. No therapist wakes up wanting to do it. None of us do. And it is one of the hardest decisions we have to make. So just know that we are pressing that emergency button only as a last resort.
Well, I'm glad that you clarified that. Because I will admit myself, I've always been afraid almost to talk to a therapist about, everything that goes on in my head, because I've been worried about, being thrown into a facility. Because there was one time I kind of got a little bit of a taste of it when I had to go to the ER because I was having a gallstone issue.
No, yeah.
And so, when you go to the ER, they always ask you, like, how old are you? All that kind of stuff. Like, they want to know your medical history. And then they ask you, do you have thoughts of suicide? And, and do you, like, have plans to carry it out? Well, at the time, I was just so focused on the pain. I wasn't really paying attention to what I was saying. I wasn't suicidal at the time, but I did have thoughts of it prior, and I had just fought, what was it? I guess I was suicidal like the month before that, but I had, overcome it. Well, I let them know, yes, I have been suicidal, but, I'm okay. And they were like, do you have a plan for, what you would do? Like, cause they followed it up, and I was like, yeah, I did, but I didn't, I didn't do it. Excuse me. So unfortunately, they put me in like a ward for mental health, and they put me in a room. Literally, it was a white room with just a bed and a counter and nothing else in it. They took my clothes, they took like my jewelry, they took my shoes, everything. They made me put on a hospital gown, and then they put an IV in me, and they put it in really weird where it was hurting my arm. And so I was kind of like, trying to, move it a little bit. And they had a security guard watching me, and he was like, hey, leave that alone. Don't you touch that, and I was just like, what the heck, man? And it just, that experience just completely, I was like, I don't ever want to be put in a mental health facility. That was absolutely traumatizing and horrible, having all my clothes taken from me. And my
it's
friends.
infuriating.
Yeah.
And it's loss of autonomy. Yeah, no. That situation. So when it comes to a counselor, like if you're with a therapist, um, and we feel that's the last ditch effort. That's after building rapport. That's after knowing how you are and knowing if you are actually about to do something. What happened to you pisses me off because it sounds like hospital administration, when you're under duress, you are not in a right state of mind. When you are already in physical pain, it just, oh God, that's just not how it should be done. And I am so sorry you went through that, because
Thank you.
and someone has to apologize because it's not okay. And a lot of reform does need to happen to mental health in America. Now, when it comes from a therapist and we go through the channels and we find you somewhere, I feel that it's different than from when a hospital administrator does it. And I hate that that experience happened. It makes me so livid. Because it's like you mentioned, that security guard who yelled at you. He's not trained in mental health. He's not a mental health professional.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep. And just FYI, this happened when I was living in California. California is the medical help that I have received here in Texas compared to California is like night and day. They have been absolutely amazing here in Texas. In California, they were horrible. They were absolutely horrible. So, yeah, I mean, it was obvious that security guard, he was not trained, you know, in any type of mental health. But yeah, I've been basically like thrown into that white room, so to say, twice now in my life. And so now, I don't know if this is bad, but I will admit, anytime I go to the ER and if they ever ask me if I've ever been suicidal, I can tell the you know, what questions to avoid. And I'm like, oh no, I'm fine. You know, no, just so that way I can avoid being put into a room like that again. I don't know if that's good or healthy or anything, but
Well, it's a learned behavior due to the trauma you went through.
yeah.
You don't have to validate it at all. Um, it's more an unfortunate thing on their behalf. And
Yeah.
someone in chat had a very good point. They said they viewed you more as a liability.
Oh, Diz. Yeah, they were worried about liability rather than you,
Yeah.
Aria. Yeah, and that's a
Uh,
shame.
I have once in my life had to press that red button. And it actually happened when I was in grad school. I don't know if I've told you this story. So when you're a grad student, the other therapists / professors, because all our professors are therapists, which is a very interesting dynamic. At the university, they would take beginning of the year surveys from incoming freshmen. So they would put it on us grad students to comb through and see if there's anything we need to follow up on in a freshman's mental health. See if we can get them connected with counseling services early. I was very much a tryhard in grad school, especially my first year. And one day I had way too much time on my hands and I combed through the surveys like my life depended on it. And that is how I found, we'll call her Rebecca. In Rebecca's beginning of the year survey, I had just learned this stuff, but she spoke as if she wouldn't always be there. She didn't use future tense at all. It was always focusing on the past, and I got a very bad feeling from it. And I went to my supervisor, and he it was so bizarre because we hadn't really established a rapport yet, me and this doctor. But he said, you know, email her, follow up on a meeting, see what comes of it. So I email Rebecca and I say, hey, we received your survey. Can you come down to the office so we can talk to you? Just more about your goals here at da 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 university. Um, and she said yes. And what I thought would be a 30-minute meeting of, oh yeah, I was just really sad that day, don't worry about it, turned into her having attempted before college and her planning on doing it this week.
Oh no.
Yeah. And Rebecca and I, like, my husband and I were dating at the time, so he remembers this story very vividly. He was at the same university I was. I stayed with her for hours. Her parents were out of state, and her and I stayed in my office until I think 9 p.m. It was very late, and they came and got her, and we talked a lot, and she got sent to get the help she needed. And I instantly called up my soon-to-be husband, and he was at Walmart with like some roommates. And I was like, can I drive to Walmart? I just really need to talk to you. And I remember vividly sobbing in the Walmart parking lot because I didn't know if I had done right by her. I didn't know if I didn't know what would happen. And also I was shook because I thought, what if I wasn't such a little nerd and I hadn't have combed through things trying to prove myself that day? It was a very emotional day. A year later, I'm still working as a grad assistant. They added me on for an extra year, and she came by the office and she was ready to start her new freshman year, and we cried and we hugged, and she got the help she needed. It was a very hard decision to make, but it did end up helping. And I feel like there's a huge difference between that human connection and calling something out, getting help for them, versus being attacked on a form. So I don't want people to be scared of these places. I don't want them to be scared of it. I do understand the hesitancy and wanting to choose how it happens.
Man. Excuse me. Sorry, I was trying to say something and then
it's all good.
had to cough and everything, but that is a very, wow, that's a very intense story, and I think that that's awesome. That's awesome. You literally, because you intervened, you saved this girl's life, and that makes you a hero, ma'am. If anybody hasn't told you that, you literally are like one of our unsung heroes. You know, I think mental health professionals are unsung heroes because they sit and they listen and they take the time to help people with their thoughts and, you know, work out their emotions and their trauma and their feelings, and that is awesome. If anybody hasn't told you, I am proud of you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Just to know that you were able to help somebody. That just man, I'm trying not to tear up. just because gosh.
Well, it's so hard because you often hear the stories of when something good doesn't happen. You often hear the stories of how people can be scarred, and it's so frustrating. Mental health does need more of a reform and a focus in America, but there are good stories too. And there are people, we don't get into this profession unless we care about people. Like, there's no therapist I know who went into it for the money, because dear God, if you go to school for 10 years, you could be literally anything else, making so much more. We don't go into it for unaltruistic reasons. We go in it because we care, and we are trying. We really are. It's just often we have to work in a system that doesn't respect mental health like it should.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you're awesome, honestly. I so I guess just to kind of explain a little bit about me, I know my community has heard me talk about this before, but one of the things that really pushed me toward having mental health awareness streams is because well, the number one reason is because I deal with it a lot, and I have seen it's kind of it's a major issue that a lot of people don't know how to be supportive because they either don't believe in it or they're just not educated. And with these streams, I want to spread as much awareness as possible, because number two, a few years ago, I lost my best friend to suicide, and I'm gonna try not to cry every time I talk about it. I always get, teared up. He was such a good man. Actually, I've lost multiple friends to suicide. Now that I think about it, like when I really think about it, there were people that I did meet online. They were my guild mates in World of Warcraft, and they were my officers. I was very close to them, and I lost two of my officers to suicide within a year of each other. And I think about what wonderful people they were, and they were such good, supportive, amazing people who seemed happy. And that's the thing, it's always the people who are the most giving and the ones who are always trying to make you laugh. Those are the ones you really got to check on. But yeah, and then I actually did lose a cousin to suicide this year too. And he was younger than me. So he was in his 20s. And I just, it breaks my heart because I was thinking to myself, dang, if I could have at least talked to my cousin before that happened, I don't know, maybe he would still be here.
You can't do that to yourself.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I can't do that to myself. Yeah, just like what Drew Dragon is saying, she was in my World of Warcraft guild also. She knew both of them. And yeah, we did. We lost Orishian and we lost Russ, and they were wonderful, amazing people. And so I don't want that to happen again to anybody that I come into contact with. I know I can't save everybody. I've already, dealt with that in my head. Sorry if I'm all tearing up and stuff, but
never apologize for a valid emotion. And I want to tell you that I'm not them, but I would be honored and proud if a friend was doing this. If a friend was working so hard to spread mental health awareness because of me. What you're doing matters. You may not see it until a year later down the line. But what you're doing makes a difference, whether you know it or not.
And
I'm proud of you. Yeah.
Thank you. I was not trying really hard not to cry.
If it's okay to be angry on Twitch, it's okay to cry.
But I've said this before to my community, that I know what it's like to feel like nobody cares and that you're alone and that you don't have, that support and that nobody understands you and you're literally just alone. And that feeling of being abandoned or feeling like nobody cares, it's the worst feeling in the world. And I don't want people to feel like that when they come here, to my channel. That's why I do my best, to be welcoming and supportive, which, everybody, I see y'all coming on in. I just don't want to talk over Psyche when she's, giving us this awesome information. No. But I see you guys coming in on chat. Thank you so much. Hello to everybody that's been coming in here. I really appreciate you guys. And I'm sorry again. I apologize a lot, Psyche, that it's something I'm trying to stop. I was always when I was in that toxic relationship, I was always having to apologize for everything, and I'm trying really hard, to stop that. And Ari gets on to me about that a lot. He's like, stop it. You don't need to apologize. Because I always think, like, every night after we're done hanging out, like, when I go to bed or whatever, I'll be like, all right, well, thank you for hanging out with me. And he's like, you don't have to thank me for hanging out with you every single time. But I'm just like, I just want you to know I appreciate it, you know. And he's like, it's okay, you don't have to thank me. And I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. He's like, you don't have to apologize either.
And see, it's good to have friends that call you out on that stuff, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Oh no, Osan Yan, we proved you wrong the last time you did that, Aurria. Remember that night? Oh my gosh. Psyche, I think you did stop in that night when they made me ugly cry. Like,
yes.
In a way I have never,
Yes.
I don't even remember the last time I've never ugly cried because of happiness before. That was like all happiness, ugly cry. And that was, oh man, that was awesome. Have you gone over questions we submitted yet? I hope I did not miss any. Yes, Dragon, we did. Actually, I believe this was the last question. Yes, that was the last question. You came in on the last question. But if you want, I can go ahead and create a highlight. I'll create a highlight for each question that was answered, so that way you can see what Psyche said about your question, because you did ask a question. Aurria can't ugly cry. She's too beautiful. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And Ari has been checking in on me lately. He's a good dude. He is. You know, I cannot like talk about him enough. And Ari is great. He's very, very supportive of, you know, my channel, me, myself, my community. He's a great guy. Wonderful friend. Oh wait, well I kind of sent a question to you in DMs because I was lazy and never sent one in. Okay, Psyche, would you mind answering one more question? Would that be okay?
Sure, I can do one more.
Okay, awesome. Because I know you have plans with your community, so I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Yeah.
All right, so this question is from Osan. And he says, I have a question about the topic right now, and it lends to what I said in chat. I am a person that bottles everything up, and I rarely let people know what's going on, but I am more than willing to increase my own burden by taking care of other people. I am one of those that take care of others before I take care of myself. How does one learn to open up even just a little? Oh, how does one learn to open up even just a little bit?
Well, I want to say, Osen, you've already taken the first step, and that's recognizing that it's happening. Sometimes when you're a giver, you don't know how to take. Giving is all you know, so it's foreign to you. You almost think your form of taking is just giving more because it's rewarding on your own to help your friends. And that's nice for a while, but it's not permanent. It doesn't last. And it turns into outbursts. It turns into, there can be a transference onto other things, projection. Eventually, think of it like a vessel, like a vase. If you pour in water, then that's fine. Now you have a container with water in it. But if you keep pouring and pouring and pouring, it's going to spill out and overflow in other areas. And it's going to be a huge mess. You have to learn to take some. You can't just give and shoulder other people's things because you will drop them. You will miss things. You can't juggle all this stuff without taking care of yourself. Reach out to a professional. Get some serious help for learning how to open up and lean on others. Because as I said earlier, you're doing a disservice to them. People want, in a good, healthy relationship, no one just wants to take. They want to give as well. They want to help you. And the friends that only take, you should not hang around. Because that is a toxic, very unhealthy situation with no boundaries. So I hope I answered that. But I do want to say you did take the first step, and that is recognizing it. That's the hardest one, actually, realizing that it's not right and you've got to get help for it.
You know, after talking to you, I've sat here like, oh, I do that, and I do that too. Oh, okay. So I'm like, all right, now I know what I need to work on. You know what? I mean, there are already things I already knew that I needed to work on, and you did solidify that in me even more. But there are new things that I realized. I'm like, okay, I've got to work on that too. So I appreciate you, Psyche.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely.
And
Anytime.
excuse me. Osan, we all got called out tonight.
Well, I do want to say that
Oh,
I
man.
did learn a lot of this in school. I also had to learn because I have that helper personality. Almost every therapist that goes into this profession has that giver helper mentality. But if you're not careful, you can get burned out. If you're not also taking and you're just giving, you won't be able to give anymore. You've got to recognize it.
And
So-
this oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, don't feel too called out because I had to learn the hard way too.
So, this guy Bonk said something that really kind of spoke to me too. He said, people who start every statement with sorry typically feel the need to diffuse every social interaction like it's a bomb, and it's a learned trauma response.
Yeah, if you, a way we can recognize trauma in people is extreme oversharing, constant apologizing, acting like they're kind of on eggshells in a conversation. Those are some things we were trained to recognize. So you're not wrong. It's definitely linked to trauma.
Mm-hmm. You know, the oversharing part, it reminds me, I felt so bad, but I was in like I think it was like a couple years ago. I decided to try different dating apps, you know, and I matched with this girl, and everything was going great, or so I thought. But then she started oversharing things that were just like, I was just thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this poor girl. But she started telling me just I guess what trigger content warning, it has to do with murder. She told me that her parent, she witnessed her father murder her mother, and I was just like, what? And then she said she witnessed her father turn the gun on himself and kill himself, and I had just started talking to the girl for like 10 minutes, and I'm just like, you know,
Sounds like someone's confusing a relationship for free therapy.
yeah, and I was just like, I already have mental health issues myself. This girl sounds like she desperately needs therapy, like hardcore. She needs, you know, to talk to somebody about this, because I was like, yeah, I know, I can't. I just told her, I am so sorry that you went through that. Have you considered talking to somebody? You know, and after that, I was just like, I can't. I had to stop talking to her because, yeah, that was a major overshare, and that, you know, like you said, that shows somebody has gone through, you know, severe trauma. So,
Well, and the
excuse me.
You did them a favor because they're not ready for a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to take care of yourself before you involve someone else in your life.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with that too. That's needless to say, I'm not on any dating apps anymore. Haven't been on any dating apps for quite a while now. I'm just like, you know, I'm just going to work on myself and, you know, my community here on Twitch, and just network with people and make lasting friendships. That is going to be my focus here.
And I'm very proud of you for it.
Yeah, thank you. Because, you know, the old me would have wanted to fix it. the old me would have been like, oh, poor thing, oh my gosh, what do you need,
Yeah.
But after talking to my therapist about putting up boundaries and trying to, taking care of myself first, which honestly, I have my good days and bad days about that, where I'm just like, yes, I'm gonna put myself first, and then other days, people tug on my heartstrings, and I'm like, oh, poor things, they need my help, I can help them, because I like Osan was saying, I'm a fixer, I like to help fix things, and I want to protect people, and but you gotta put boundaries on yourself, even. Know.
And if you protect people, they're not going to learn how to defend themselves. You by overprotecting and overgiving, by never taking or being protected, that person's own spiritual and mental growth is limited. So not only does it benefit you, it benefits them.
You were so right about that. Thank you again for calling us out in a wholesome way.
It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Again, everybody, I want to... Can I get a shout out for the amazing PsycheSiren? Y'all, if you are not following her, please go follow her. She is fantastic and amazing. She does D&D streams. She does this awesome thing. I believe is it every Tuesday, Psyche, with the mountain?
Oh, no!
With the...
Yeah, National Park Girls.
Yes.
So,
yeah, go ahead and tell them all about it, because it's great. Yeah. It's so great, you guys.
So, while I am competent in things such as psychology, in video games, I am not. The whole reason I started streaming was because I watched Frasier, and I was like, hey, I could show people that therapists are normal people too, and I could make them not scared of therapy and just be a goofball on Twitch. And now I think they're scared of therapists for a whole other reason. Because it's a lot of fun, a lot of chaos. On Tuesdays, we stream a game called National Park Girls. It's a dating sim where the ladies are mountains, like Yellowstone or Yosemite.
It's so great.
And we voice act. Listen, okay, listen. I need no judgment, all right? It's just a lot of wholesome chaos on my channel.
Oh my gosh, Inari.
Help.
Inari's like, I still haven't recovered from that sexy time voice redeem.
Oh my god, that was hilarious. See, I wanted people to see therapists are normal people, but maybe I should revisit that tagline.
It was so great, you guys. I went there. I was actually having a rough night, and I saw Psyche was streaming. I'm like, oh, I should go check it out. And they were doing a charity stream. So for every $5 somebody donated, they would get to pick the voice that Psyche and everybody would read the chat on the bottom as the game progressed. And somebody redeemed Sexy Time voice. So I come into the chat and she's like, oh, hello, Aurria. And I'm just like, what?
Like, over the top, like, we don't do real sexy. We do like telenova, like, hello. And then we do stupid stuff like, granny voice, It's just stupid stuff like that. And God,
so great.
It earned
so
money for the shelter. So.
Exactly. See, she was doing voices for charity, Sexy Time voices for Texas charity, y'all.
Well, we do it on Tuesdays even without the charity.
Oh, okay, even without charity then.
But that day, it all went to charity.
It was so great.
Right now, we're going through my first time playing Undertale. Nothing has been spoiled for me. We're streaming that on Mondays and Wednesdays. And
I'm looking for that clip because I took a clip of it. And,
oh no!
And so that way people can see, because oh my gosh, it was so hilarious.
Oh
I was
no!
Like, I was like, y'all, and I just posted the clip.
It's just been like a podcast of me being a professional, and now you're showing them what they can really expect on the channel.
You know what? Here, I'll show it to you guys, so y'all can see. We're gonna watch the clip really quick. Let me turn off the music here really quick. Hold on, so you guys.
I'm gonna mute myself.
I'm gonna. Let me. Okay, so this is the game, and I'm gonna turn it up all the way so y'all can hear this. It's so great. All right, here we go.
Hello, Aurria. How are you? We are having money donated towards a women's shelter in Texas. If you donate $5, you can choose the voice we use. I'm so sorry.
Hello, Aurria.
Aurria, I'm so sorry. Check out Aurria. Shout her out. Share the psychopaths. Hello, Aurria.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we.
I can't believe you put me on blast. I can't. Gosh dang it.
Oh my gosh. So yes, that is what happened when I came into her stream. I was laughing so hard. So if you would like the clip here, I went ahead and clipped it for everybody to see.
Oh my god, I'm crying.
Oh my gosh, yes. This is why we love Psyche. This is why she's amazing, and this is why she is our fearless leader, because she is willing to do stuff like that just for kicks and just to make people laugh, and it's so great.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Oh, poor voice, stop making me laugh. I'm sick. Dang it. I know, right? I'm like coughing here.
Oh
I'm
my
gonna be
god.
all using my inhaler. Oh my gosh.
God. Oh, but yeah, I do lead the stream team, the psychopaths. We try to bring wholesome chaos into the world.
Yes.
Sometimes it's more wholesome, sometimes it's more chaos, but you know. I do have a YouTube channel with some psychopath stuff on it. We are working on having a psychopath one, but we do have a website. If y'all ever want to check it out.
Oh, you do have a website?
Yeah, it's being revamped. Let me pull it up.
Awesome. Well, you are a VIP, so you should be able to post in chat.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, let me just pull it up. I have so many tabs open.
I know, right? Me too. I should probably. Before Psyche goes, Aurria. Yes, Inari. My microphone stand is in the way. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, I wanted to put on some music for y'all.
But yeah, we're gonna work on making it fancier. But this is what we have for now.
Ooh.
I've still got to add more streamers onto it.
Oh no, why did it I thought I made you a I'm sorry, Psyche. I will
Oh, it's okay.
I will make you a VIP. What is it? Is it psychepaths.com?
Thepsychepaths.com.
Okay. Psychepaths.com.
And we still gotta format it and make it pretty, but this is what we have for now.
Nice. Well, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So if you guys would like more information about the psychopaths, you can go to the website that we went ahead and posted there in chat. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, we have more people on the stream team. I gotta put you up there. I gotta put up oh, and I have some videos on there, and then the merch store. Just all this stuff we're working on for the team.
Nice. Well, I don't know if you knew this, but I'm a web designer. That's part of what I do. So in real life, so I can help out with this. I would love to help out with this. That would be awesome.
Oh, girl, heck
This
yes.
is great. Oh, wait, my redeem. I will not let this go. Oh, you redeem. Okay, so before you go, Psyche, one more thing. I guess, wait, what? What am I supposed to reverse? I must get a clip. What am I reversing, though? I don't,
What is reverse?
Oh wait, Uno reverse on that sexy time shout out. Wait, what? An, oh, okay. So you want? Okay, wait. Do you want Psyche to do a sexy time shout out? Is that? Hey, babyface, good to see you. Wait, me? You want me? Oh my, they want me to do the sexy time show. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
I mean, no, I'm so sorry.
Oh gosh. Okay, I don't even. I don't. How does one be sexy?
Here. You take a little dash of evil, okay? So you're like it gets to evil, right? But make it gentle, like a gentle evil. And then you have it.
So who am I shouting out? Am I shouting out Psyche? It's only fair to Psyche. Yeah, because I kind of like, you know, threw her on blast, right? Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my goodness. I may even turn off my camera. I don't even.
Yeah, I gotta hide your shame.
I'm just like, okay, so, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna turn my camera off for this, cause y'all ain't gonna see my face. Oh my gosh! All right, I'm gonna try not to cough. Try not to.
Remember, gentle evil.
Okay.
You can do it.
Gentle evil. Okay, so
Yes.
Evil, gentle.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Think of like any telenovela, like, you know, over the top, you know, villainess type, but sultry.
Oh goodness. Okay.
You gotta commit. You gotta not care what these little kids think. You can't. My stream knows. I don't care what they think. I will be a disaster. Don't show fear. They'll smell it.
I need to not look at chat. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Oh goodness. Lord help me. Oh gosh. All right.
Your mom's cheering you on.
Oh, no.
I love it. Yes.
Okay. It.
Do you need a line?
Give me a line, yes.
Okay. You gotta say something like, hello chat, my name is Aurria, and I recommend you watch PsycheSiren.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Hype me up. Sexily.
Okay. Sexy time shout out.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello. Oh my god, I felt.
No, keep going. You got this.
Okay. Hello, chat. My name is Aurria21, and I just want to tell you about PsycheSiren and how amazing she is. If you are not following Psyche, please do. Can I please get a shout out for PsycheSiren? Go follow her and tell her Aurria21 sent you. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that.
Snip it and put it in like our intro thing.
I had to close my eyes, Psyche.
It's okay. We'll get through this.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh,
God,
Mom.
That's hilarious.
My mom's like, that's my girl.
I feel like your mom and my mom should never meet because she's just like this.
Oh my gosh, that would be like the best stream ever with my mom and your mom together. Oh, that would be so great.
Girl, I don't got the bail money.
Oh my gosh. All right, everybody. Again, Psyche, thank you so much. Y'all, again, go follow her. She is fantastic. And I already know I'm gonna hear it with all these clips from that. Oh my gosh, thank you, Psyche. You are wonderful, ma'am. You really are.
You. Anytime, I am a huge fan of what you're doing with your community. Have a lovely rest of your Saturday.
Thank you, ma'am, and you too. And oh, I believe you're gonna be watching The Princess Bride, right?
Yes, we're gonna show it on the
Awesome.
Discord. Yeah.
Awesome. That is one of my favorite movies I grew up with. My mom made sure I watched that as a kid. So
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I was parented right.
Good. All right. Goodbye.
All right. Thank you, Psyche. Have a good night.
You too. Goodbye.
All right, y'all. So I am actually going to go on a quick break. I've got to take the doggos out, and I need to. Oh no, the clip will be in the Psyche Pass. Oh great. Oh my gosh, I just can't even believe I did that. Oh no, Dave. Oh my gosh. All right. Yes, Psyche, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. I appreciate you very much. I am gonna go ahead and go on a quick break. I will be right back, y'all.